Kia ora Year 12. This is a short video going through Nulake question 81. This was a student request from class. So the question goes like this. The gradient of the line through the points 7, negative 5 and 3, negative 2 is the negative reciprocal of the gradient through the line 6, negative 4 and k3. Find the value of k. Now that was a pretty stupid set of grid lines I've just drawn because I want the negative quadrant. So this point here, 7, negative 5, I'm going to call A. I'm going to whack that on the grid about there. Okay, and then 3, negative 2 is going to be somewhere up about like this. Right, so that's enough that you can get a feel for the kind of gradient we're looking for. We should be expecting a number that is negative because it's got a negative slope on the line and not too steep. So I would guess, just from looking at that, a fractional gradient. Right, so what we're trying to find is that first gradient, and then we're going to find the negative reciprocal of that gradient, and it's going to go through 2 points. Now one of those points is going to be 6, negative 4, which is going to be somewhere around here. Right, it might be on the line or it might not be, and some other point, k and 3. So we're probably looking at a line that goes something like that. Okay? Right, so the first step we're going to do is we're going to label our points. We've got A there, and we'll do B here for 3, negative 2. Now I'm going to turn to the next slide to do the calculations. Alright, so we've got the slope of AB is equal to the change in y over the change in x. Right, and I'm going to start with point A minus point B. So I get negative 5 minus negative 2. So that's using the y coordinates divided by 7 minus 3. Right, so remember the points I'm working with are 7, negative 5 and 3, negative 2. Okay, now this finding the gradient step should be feeling very, very easy by now. What I've got to do next is simplify that. So negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. And that fits with what we saw, right? So should be feeling quite good about that. Now, the question said we had to find, so the gradient of this line that we've found is the negative reciprocal of the other gradient. So the other gradient, which we'll call CD, is going to be 4/3. Right, remember from the really rough picture that we drew, we started with 2 points like that. Right, so that's the line we've found. And now we're looking for the equation of this line here. I'm going to put another slide in and we'll keep going. Okay, so we're now looking for a gradient of 4/3 between these 2 points, 6, negative 4 and k and 3. So MCD is going to equal 3 minus negative 4, the change in y, divided by k minus 6. And we know that that has to be 4/3. Right, so a little bit of simplification gives us 7 over k minus 6 equals 4/3. Right, on to the next slide to simplify it. You should have a go at simplifying that from here. We've done all the hard work. Right, so 7 over k minus 6 is equal to 4/3. 21 is equal to 4 times k minus 6. 21 is equal to 4k minus 24. 45 equals 4k, and k is equal to 45 over 4, which is the same as 11.25. Okay, so we're done. Actually, I just want to show you one more thing going back onto the graph. So let's just have a look at what that answer really means. So I'll put another new slide in, and I'll do a slightly more accurate graph this time. Okay, so here's the first point. So we had 7 and negative 5. So that's that point there. Next point 3 and negative 2 here. So we join up the dots and we got that line there. That was the first slope that we found, negative 3/4. Right, and now we're looking for our point 6 and K, so the slope of our point. Right, so that's going to be 11.25 and 3. Now I've done a really stupid thing, I haven't made my grid big enough, but what we're looking at is that the line goes through 6 and about negative 4, and it's got a slope of, it's the negative reciprocal, so it's a perpendicular line to that one. And we're saying what is the value of x by the time it gets up to 3. And you can see that we've found it's going to be 11.25, which is somewhere off the screen. So one more bad drawing coming up. Right, so let's try to get it roughly to scale. So there's that one there and that one there. So that was like that. The perpendicular one goes through 6 and negative 4. So what we're getting at here is that by the time we've got a y value of 3, our x is 11.25. Okay, thanks for your patience. Sorry about the terrible graph drawing. I'm trying to get these videos whipped out in a big hurry. So if you want me to, ask me in class and I can show you that nicely using GeoGebra.